Morning students, welcome back to our economics class here. So yesterday we have done with our second chapter all the SAQs, VSAQs and all we have done for theory of consumer behavior, and today we are going to start with our new chapter, that is demand analysis. So in this chapter I'm going to explain you what are the important questions you have to prepare from supplementary point of view, from examination point of view. Okay, so the questions from this chapter, the weightage is demand analysis. Totally you have to learn around 4 SAQs from that. Compulsory 2 SAQs you will get from exam, and 2 VSAQs you will get. So almost 14 marks you can score from this chapter. So this is also an important chapter where you can score more marks in this. Okay, so now I'm going to start this chapter here. Demand analysis. So in this chapter, we are going to study what is demand, what are the determinants of demand, what is law of demand, what are exceptions to law of demand, why demand curve slopes downwards. Okay, so those all topics are covered. Now, whatever the topics I'm going to explain here, these you may get some points, you may get it for 2 marks, and some questions you may get it for 5 marks also. So let us discuss what are all the topics which are important from exam point of view. Okay, so first we will start with demand. What do you mean by word demand? Generally, as a consumer, we will demand certain commodities. Means what? We want the goods which will satisfy our wants. Whichever is satisfying our want, we desire to have them, right? Desire alone is not sufficient here. So we say that demand means desire for a commodity, along with willingness to pay the price. We are willing means we are accepting the price what is there for that product. Desire is there means we want it, then we are ready to pay for that, and we have the ability to buy the good. We have the ability to buy the commodity. This is called as demand. So your demand means not only desire, you want that commodity, only that concept we don't say it as demand. We should have the purchasing power and we are ready to buy the goods over here. We are ready to buy the goods. So demand means desire, willingness and ability to buy the commodity. If these three together are there, then only we say that demand arises for a commodity. Okay, so this is the concept of demand here. This demand concept will be for 2 marks. Okay, the next one we have another like after the demand concept, we are going to discuss the determinants of demand, then we'll do the demand function. Okay, so now we have what are the factors that are determining determinants of demand. Factors that are determining demand. Very, very, very important 5 marks question from this chapter. So what factors will affect our demand? You see, sometimes we demand more quantity, sometimes we demand less quantity. Sometimes we want more, sometimes we will purchase less, right? On what basis our demand will increase or decrease? So these are the factors we have. First factor is price of the commodity. Price of the commodity means what here? When the price is high, we demand less quantity. When price is low, we demand more quantity. That is obvious. Every consumer will do the same thing here, right? Means in the market, whenever the prices are high, we demand less quantity. So you can just see here, when price is high, our quantity demanded will be low. When price is low, our quantity demanded will be high. So this is what we have observed in the market. So price is affecting my demand over here, increase or decrease in the demand. Now, second factor which is affecting is income of consumer. Consumer's income. Generally, we as a consumer, these income levels, every consumer will have certain income level, right? Income level is the purchasing power of the commodity, means purchasing power of the consumer. When your income increases, obviously we demand more quantity, and when our income decreases, we demand less quantity. In general, if you observe, as our income levels are increasing, our purchasing power increases. Means when my income is increasing, my purchasing power also increases, so that I can buy more quantity. Okay, so that is why when income increases, demand increases. When income decreases, demand decreases. Now, in this case, we are having two types of goods. Every time this won't be the same. We differentiate the goods based on the category. We have inferior goods and superior goods. Inferior goods and superior goods. Relating to this, we will discuss in detail in the next topics when we come across income demand. Now, in determinants, you have to write this one. As the income increases, the demand for the commodity increases. When income decreases, demand also decreases, because income is the purchasing power of the consumer. Okay, so in case of inferior goods, as the income increases, quantity demand decreases. Inferior goods. Inferior goods means what? The goods which are of low price, which are of less price or low quality. We call such goods as inferior goods. When our income levels are increasing, we don't want to take low priced items, because my purchasing power increased now. I don't prefer low priced items. So such goods are called inferior goods. Coming to superior goods, when income increases, quantity demand for superior goods also increases. These superior are also called as normal goods. Normal goods like our daily used durable goods and all, we can say here. Television, refrigerators, or all these. Means as my income increases, I demand more of these inferior goods. So, income of the consumer is one factor which is affecting the demand. Next, another factor is price of related goods. What are related goods? Two goods are related to each other. Means either we can substitute the good, or two goods together we have to use. Such goods are called related goods. Now, in the related goods, we are having two types of goods. That is substitute goods and complementary goods. Complementary goods. Now, what are substitute goods here? Substitute goods means which we can use in place of another. Like for example, instead of pen, you can use pencil also, right? Instead of tea, you can use coffee also. Instead of blue pen, you can use black pen also. Instead of Colgate, you can use close-up also. So these way which are replacing each other is called as substitute goods. So for substitute goods, what will happen? One product price will affect the demand for another good. That's why we say related goods. So we can say here, price of substitute. That means one product increases, demand for another commodity also increases. For substitute goods, so generally you see for substitute goods, what happened? For example, we take X and Y are substitute goods. Means like we can take Colgate and Close-Up, both are substitute. We can use either this or that we can use here. So if price of one good increases, what we will do, for example, Colgate price is increasing. What we will feel, anyhow Colgate price is increasing, we try to replace that with Close-Up, because Close-Up price does not increase. So demand for Close-Up is increasing here. That relation is there for substitute goods. Means in case of substitute goods, if price of one commodity increases, demand for another commodity also increases. Now for complementary, what are complementary goods? Goods which are jointly together will satisfy our want. Dependent goods. Dependent. Now for example, you want to write with your pen. That pen should have refill. In refill, ink should be there. So all these together only will satisfy your want, right? You want to take out two-wheeler. In the two-wheeler, petrol should be there. So those goods are called dependent goods. Okay. So in this case of dependent goods, what happen? If price of, for example, petrol and two-wheeler we will take. If price of petrol increases, demand, that is quantity demanded for two-wheelers will decrease, because as petrol prices are increasing continuously, we try to avoid that one. Means we try to reduce our consumption. So the demand for petrol vehicles will decrease. Those goods are called complementary goods. So just see here. Now, in case of price of related goods, what are related goods? The goods, two goods can be either combinedly used to satisfy our want, or in place of another we can use to satisfy our want. So in case of substitute goods, what are substitute goods? The goods which are satisfying the human wants, the same goods which will satisfy the same want. So we can either use one, this or that. In that case, when price increases, demand also increases. In case of complementary goods, when price increases, demand for another commodity decreases. Okay. So this is one more factor which is affecting our demand. See, what are the main factors? Price of the commodity, income of the consumer, price of related goods. Now, coming to the next factors we are having, that is taste and preferences of the consumer. So another factor which is affecting my demand is taste and preferences. What is this taste and preferences? What I like, what I want. This may change sometimes. For example, now I may like chocolate. So demand for chocolates may increase over here because desire, willingness and ability will be there. But after certain period, after certain time, I may not like that chocolates. My taste may change. During that time, I will not demand that commodity anymore. So as the consumer's taste and preferences are changing, demand for the commodity also changes. Okay, so taste and preferences are one factors which are affecting the demand here. Then next we have population, size of population. In an area where there is more population, demand for goods will be more, because where more people are there, more the demand for goods will be there. Where less population is there, demand for goods will be less. So population is also determining the demand for the commodity. Then technology. What type technical changes we can say here? Technological changes. What does this technological changes happen here? So in the technology, when there is a change, in the technology, when there is a change, we don't want to prefer old technology product. For example, mobile phones we can take. Earlier, we used to have keypad, right? Where buttons will be there to press the number and all. But now we have smartphone. Okay. Earlier, we used to have 4G. Now we got 5G. Means as the technology is changing, we don't prefer old technology products. Demand will be there only for the goods which are of new technology. So as the technology changes, demand for the commodity also changes. Then next one, climatic conditions. Climatic conditions also affect the demand for the commodity. Climate, as the weather is changing, for example, in summer season, demand will be there more for ACs, refrigerators, or you can see ice creams, cool drinks. These will be demanded more during summer season. The same goods will not be more in demand during winter or rainy season. As the climate is changing, as the weather conditions are changing, now if you see during rainy season, who will prefer AC? Who will prefer ice creams? So that way, as the climatic conditions are changing, demand for the commodities also changes. And another factor which is affecting the demand is state of business. State of business is what? Our business is in what condition? For example, if your business is in prosperity, prosperity means what? Profit. If your business is in profit situation, demand for your goods will be high. That means if your business is in profit, you will come up with new ideas. You will start doing new innovations in your business because you're in profits. You want to expand your business. So you will come up with new innovations in your product. So that is the reason demand for your commodities will be high. Whereas if your business is in loss, recession, during that time, you will not invent any new products. You will not innovate any new things. Same old product you want to supply in the market. People may not demand your old commodity. So demand for your commodities will be less when the business is in recession. So state of business, if business is in profit, demand will be more. If business is in losses, demand will be less. So this is how we have the factors which are affecting our demand. So just go through these points here. See, what are all the factors that are affecting my demand? Sometimes I may demand more quantity. Sometimes I may demand less quantity. Why? What are the reasons for that? What factors are affecting my demand here? First, price of the commodity. As the price is changing, we may increase the demand or decrease the demand. When price changes, automatically demand also changes. Okay, consumer's income. As the consumer income increases, his purchasing power also increases. When purchasing power is increasing, he can demand more commodity, right? Again, in consumer's income, when we purchase any goods, our goods are classified into inferior goods and superior or normal goods. In case of inferior good, when income increases, demand decreases. Whereas in case of superior goods, when income increases, demand also increases. Next, price of related goods. The two goods are related. Why? Because we have the commodities which are related to each other. In place of one another, we can use them, or two goods jointly will satisfy our want. So in these related goods, how it will be? If price of one commodity changes, it has an effect on the demand for another commodity. So like we have substitute goods. What are substitute goods? The goods which can be replaced in place of another. Okay, so substitute goods, what will happen? If price of one commodity increases, demand for another commodity also increases. For complementary goods, if price of one commodity increases, demand for another commodity decreases. Okay, then next, taste and preferences. As our taste, likes and dislikes, our preferences are changing, demand for the commodity also changes. Population, where there is the size of population is more, demand for the commodities are high. When the size of population is less, means in an area where very less population is there, in such area demand for goods also will be less. Technological changes, as the technology is changing, demand for the goods also changes, means demand for old technology products will be less. Demand for new technology products will be high. Okay. Next, climatic conditions. When there is a change in our climate, like seasonal changes or weather changes, we change the demand for the commodities. State of business. When business is in prosperity or profits, demand will be high. When business is in loss or recession, demand will be less for that particular commodity. Okay. So these are the various determinants of demand. Clear with these determinants of demand here? Okay, so now based on these determinants, we can write down the demand function. See, we have done with demand. Now we will write demand function. What is demand function? Demand function explains the relationship between quantity demanded and factors determining demand. Just now we have studied with factors determining demand here. Okay, so it is a functional relation. Demand function shows the functional relation between quantity demanded and factors determining demand. So what is this demand function? Remember, very, very, very important 2 marks question. Demand function, it shows the functional relation between quantity demanded and factors determining demand. Means how we will write here, mathematical expression we will show here. Quantity of any commodity is a functional relation. Quantity, how much we are demanding? That depends on price of the commodity, price of substitutes, price of complementaries, income of the consumer, technology, taste and preferences, right? Then state of business, so on. So these all factors will have an effect on our quantity. Means what? Why we say functional relation? Because if price changes, your demand changes. If substitute price is changing, your quantity demanded is changing. If complementary price is changing, your quantity demanded is changing. If technology changes, your quantity demand changes. That's why we call it as a functional relation between quantity demanded, that is QX, and factors determining demand. What are all the factors that are determining our demand? Price of the commodity, price of substitutes and complementaries, income, technology, taste and preferences and all. So this functional relation is called as demand function. Your very, very, very important 2 marks question from this chapter. Okay, demand function. It shows the functional relation between quantity demanded and factors determining demand. So Q of X is equals to F of price of X, price of substitutes and all the factors we will write here. This formula you can write. So this much answer you have to write for your 2 marks answer. Okay. So is it clear with this? Right. So next we have after the determinants. Now let us study with the types of demand. there are different types of demand depending on the determinants. So the first type of demand is price demand. What is price demand? Price demand shows the relation between, it shows the relation between price of the commodity and quantity demanded. Price of the commodity and quantity demanded. Okay, means as the price changes, demand also changes. Here, other factors remain constant. Other factors remain constant. Other factors means what? Our income of the consumer, price of related goods, or technology. These all we assume that they are constant. Only if there is a change in price, demand also changes. That is called as price demand. Then second type we have income demand. Now, what is this income demand? These all are important for your 2 marks. Income demand shows the relation between consumers' income and quantity demanded. All other factors remain constant. So, as the consumer's income is changing, demand for the commodity also changes. All other factors like price will be constant, price will not change, right? Price of related goods will not change, climatic conditions will be same. Only if our income is changing, demand will change. Okay, then third type of demand we have cross demand. Cross demand means what here? The price of related goods. Here, this cross demand it shows the relation between two related goods. It shows the relation between two related goods which are either substitutes or complementaries. Substitutes or complementaries. If price of one commodity changes, demand for another commodity changes. If price of one good changes, demand for another good changes. That's why we call it as a cross demand. So these are the 3 types of demand we are having. One is price demand, shows the relation between price and quantity demanded, means our demand changes because of change in price. Other factors remain constant. Income demand shows the relation between consumer income and quantity demanded, means our demand changes with a change in consumer's income. Other factors remain constant. Cross demand shows the relation between two related goods which are either substitutes or complementaries. So if price of one good changes, demand for another good also changes. Okay, so these are important for your 2 marks again. Types of demand we are having, that is price demand, income demand and cross demand. Okay. Right, now we will discuss individually about the price demand and all. Right, now here let us discuss with price demand. First type of demand we have price demand. So this price demand show what we have studied here. It shows the relation between price and quantity demanded, right? It shows the relation between price and quantity demanded. Means what it will be there? Quantity of X is a functional relation of price of the commodity. Means if price changes, our demand also changes. Clear? This is called as price demand. Now, the concept of price demand was explained by Alfred Marshall, in which he explained the law of demand. Again, law of demand is an important concept in your demand chapter, right? Law of demand. Law of demand also explains the relation between price and quantity demanded. It explains that, see, when you're writing law of demand, remember these points, what you have to write. Okay, one is it explains the relation between price and quantity demanded, and this law was explained by Alfred Marshall, right? This law of demand was explained by Alfred Marshall, and here we can say, when according to Alfred Marshall, price increases, if price increases, then quantity demanded decreases. Okay, and if price decreases, quantity demand increases. This concept was explained by Alfred Marshall. Here, all other factors remain constant. What are the other factors here? Other factors are income of the consumer, taste and preferences. All these will remain constant. Only if price changes, our demand changes. This concept was explained by Alfred Marshall. So, to explain price demand, Alfred Marshall explained the law of demand. In law of demand, what he explained, when the question comes like this, you have to add these points here. Law of demand explains the relation between price and quantity demanded. This law was explained by Alfred Marshall. According to Alfred Marshall, if price increases, quantity demanded decreases. And if price decreases, quantity demanded increases. All other factors remain constant. So this is the concept explained in our law of demand. Okay, now to explain this law of demand, we will use table and graph so that it will be clear here. Now here we can take one example. So to explain the law of demand, we use demand schedule and demand curve. To explain law of demand, we use demand schedule and demand curve. Now, what is demand schedule? Again, your 2 marks question. What will be your demand schedule? The list of various quantities, demanded at different price levels. List of various quantities demanded at different price levels. Because when price is changing, demand is also changing, right? So that list when we prepare, that is only called as our law demand schedule. Okay, so in the table format it will be there. Now just a simple example we will take. For example, you take apple. Apple prices are changing every time. Okay, so based on that we will do over here price, quantity, number of units we are taking. If apple price is 10 rupees, we demand more quantity. Okay, if apple price increases, when the price is increasing, we may take less quantity. Okay, then still the price is increasing, demand decreases. When apple price is 40, we may take only 40. Apple price is 50, we may take only 20. So as the price is increasing, demand is decreasing, or in simple words, we can say here just 10, 8 like that we will take. For your convenience, we will take it like this. Okay, if 10 rupees is there, I will take 10 apples. If 20 rupees, I may take only 20 apples. If 30 rupees, I will take 6 apples. 40 rupees, I will take 4 apples. 50 rupees, I will take only 2 apples. Because price is very high now. When price is more, I will take less quantity. When price is less, I will take more quantity. Right? So this is the demand schedule. So this is the demand schedule, how we prepare here. It is a list of various quantities demanded at different price levels. It is called as demand schedule. Okay. Now, based on this, we can do the demand curve. What is demand curve? When we plot this table, when we do it in a graph, then we get the demand curve. So just see the demand curve here. On x-axis, we are taking quantity demanded, and on y-axis, we are taking price. So just see, quantity from 2 to 10 we are having directly 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Here we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So you just see, when 10 rupees is there, when the price is 10 rupees, how much quantity we are demanding? 10. When price is 10, quantity demanded is 10. When price is 20, demand is 8. When price is 30, demand is 6. 40, demand is 4. 50, demand is 2. When you join all these points, you get a curve that is called as demand curve. Okay. So here we can say DD is the demand curve which is sloping downwards. Right? See, when price is 50, our demand is 2. When price is 10, our demand is 10. Okay. So as the price increases, demand decreases. When price decreases, demand increases. That is the reason our demand curve will always slope downwards. Okay. Why it is sloping downwards? Because when price increases, demand decreases. And when price decreases, demand increases. Okay, this is a simple concept of demand. This completes your law of demand. Okay, so now in this we have demand schedule and demand curve. Just see the law of demand, how we explain here. To explain the price demand, Alfred Marshall explained law of demand. What is law of demand? It explains the relation between price and quantity demanded. So according to Alfred Marshall, if price increases, the demand decreases. If price decreases, demand increases. All other factors remain constant. So this law can be explained with the help of a table and a graph. The table we call it as demand schedule and the graph we call it as demand curve. So what is demand schedule? It is a list of various quantities demanded at different price levels. So different prices are there, different quantities we are demanding. So this list table format is called as demand schedule. Based on demand schedule, we can draw demand curve. Demand curve is sloping downwards because When price is high, demand is less. When price is low, demand is more. That's why our demand curve is sloping downwards. Okay, so this is about our law of demand. Now, next one, generally we know that demand curve will be having slope, demand curve will be sloping downwards here. Okay, so next important question you are having in this, that is exceptions to our law of demand. Okay, before that we will just discuss why demand curve slope downwards. Here we have seen just now our demand curve is sloping downwards. Now we will see what are the reasons for downward sloping demand curve. Another important 5 marks question. Okay, reasons for negative sloping demand curve. Reasons for negative or downward, any word you can use here. Right? Reason for, your question will be, what are the reasons for downward sloping demand curve, or what are the reasons for negative sloping demand curve? It is an important 5 marks question. Now, generally, why our demand curve is sloping downwards here? Because our demand curve is sloping downwards because when the price is high, demand is low. So generally, see why demand curve is sloping downwards. Demand curve sloping downwards because when price is high, quantity demanded is low, and when price is low, quantity demanded is high. So we have a negative relation over here, right? So there is a negative relation between price and quantity demanded. So why there is a negative relation? Now we will see the reasons. Now as a consumer, we all also will do the same thing. When price is increasing, we purchase less quantity. When price decreases, we purchase more quantity. Why? Now we will see the reasons for that. So the first reason is law of diminishing marginal utility. The law of diminishing marginal utility. What was explained in law of diminishing marginal utility? As we consume more quantity, additional satisfaction decreases. So when our satisfaction is decreasing, if the price of the commodity increases, why we buy more quantity? We reduce the demand also. Because when our marginal utility is decreasing, if price increases, as our marginal utility is decreasing, demand for the commodity also decreases. Means when my satisfaction is decreasing, why I will buy the product at high price? I will not buy because I'm not getting any satisfaction. I'm getting very less satisfaction from that. So this is also one reason for downward sloping demand curve. Then next reason is income effect. When price decreases, for example, with you have 100 rupees. Now the apple price is 20 rupees. So with that 100, how many apples you can purchase? Only 5 you can buy. If price of apple decreases to 10 rupees, if price decreases, you are having 100 rupees with you. So your purchasing power will increase now. Means With 100, if the price is decreased to 10 rupees, you can buy 10 apples, right? From 5, you have increased your quantity to 10 because as the price decreases, your purchasing power increased. That is the reason, as your purchasing power is increasing, you are able to buy more quantity. Okay, that concept is called income effect. Then next reason is substitution effect. What is this substitution effect? Substitute means what? Instead of one product, we can use another one. Now, for example, Colgate price has increased. Why I will take Colgate when substitutes are available to that? I have close-up, I have other paste and all, right? So I will try to replace that one. Because if substitutes are available, if price of one product increases, I will substitute that with another lesser priced product. For example, pencil and pen we have taken as an example for substitute. If price of pencils are high, increasing, I will replace, instead of pencil, I'll use pen only because pencil price is high, no? So as I'm substituting, when price increases, demand will be low. When price decreases, demand will be high, right? That is called as substitution effect. Next reason is multiple uses of the commodity. Multiple uses of the commodity means what? When a commodity is having many uses. For example, if we take a real-time example, milk. If you take milk, with milk you can make curd, you can make sweets, you can make tea, anything you can, means all these items, many uses are there with that commodity. If price is high, will you take more quantity and use it for everything? No, we don't make sweets and all with milk because price is very high. So what I'll do when price is high, I'll demand less quantity. I will take only small amount there. Only one item I'll use. If price decreases, I may use it for many things. Okay. So that when the product is having multiple uses, as the price decreases, demand increases. And another reason for negative sloping downwards is old and new buyers. Old and new buyers. See, old buyers, already those who are using it. For example, your friend is using one pen which is of cost 50 rupees. So in your mind also that will be there. Oh, he is using 50 rupees pen. When can I purchase? Price is very high. I may not buy it. If the price of that pen decreases to 30 rupees, for example, if the price decreases to 30 rupees, so obviously even you want to try that one. So demand for that commodity will increase when the price decreases here, right? So now when the price decreases, old buyers will anyhow use it. Even new buyers also want to try that commodity. So old and new buyers together, demand for that commodity will increase here. These are the reasons for downward or negative sloping demand curve. So when this question comes for your exam, you have to explain demand. First, give the introduction. Demand curve is sloping downwards because when price is high, quantity demanded is low. When price is low, quantity demand is high. There is a negative relation between price and quantity demanded. The following are the reasons. Okay. Law of diminishing marginal utility. When we consume extra unit, the satisfaction, the additional satisfaction is decreasing. So if the price increases, we will demand less quantity because the satisfaction is decreasing. Income effect, when the price decreases, our purchasing power increases. So we can buy more quantity. Substitution effect, if the price of a commodity increases, we will substitute that with another commodity. So, substitution will be done. Multiple uses of a commodity. If a product is having many uses, when a product is used for many uses, then when the price decreases, I can purchase more quantity. Old and new buyers, when the price decreases, old buyers will buy the commodity, as well as new buyers also want to try this commodity. So this way, we have the reasons for downward sloping demand curve. So is it clear with this? This is again an important 5 marks question. So today, totally what all questions we have discussed? Just see, we have discussed the determinants of demand. Very, very important question for 5 marks. Total from this chapter, 2 5 marks questions will be given. Okay. So determinants of demand. These types of demand, you will get it for 2 marks. Then law of demand. Again, law of demand, you may get it for 5 marks. For 5 marks, if they are giving, give the introduction, the points, and you will be writing about the demand schedule and demand curve. In this, you have individual and market. That is not required now. Just this demand schedule and demand curve. This will complete your law of demand. Okay, that is one more 5 marks question. Next 5 marks question you have done. Reasons for negative or downward sloping demand curve. So you will write down the introduction and you will explain these points. These all points you have to explain in 3 meaningful points, or 2 lines you write about each one. That answer is enough for you. Just go through what all answers we have done today. First, what is demand? Demand means desire for a commodity, willingness to pay the price, and ability to buy the good. This is called as demand. What is demand function? It shows the functional relation between quantity demanded and factors determining demand. So all the factors you have to write down the formula here. Then what are the determinants of demand? Price of the commodity, income of the consumer, price of related goods, taste and preferences, population, technological changes, climatic conditions, and state of business. So these are all the factors that are determining the demand. Then next we have types of demand. There are 3 types of demand, that is price demand, income demand, and cross demand. Price demand shows the relation between price and quantity demanded. Income demand shows the relation between consumers' income and quantity demanded. Cross demand, which shows the relation between 2 related goods, substitutes or complementaries. Next we have price demand. When we discuss in price demand, we will study with the law of demand. As we know, price demand shows the relation between price and quantity demanded. This quantity of X is a functional relation of price of X. So law of demand, it explains the relation between price and quantity demanded. This law was explained by Alfred Marshall. And according to Alfred Marshall, when price increases, quantity demand decreases. When price decreases, quantity demand increases. All other factors remain constant. So this concept was explained by Alfred Marshall in law of demand. Here, what assumption we are making when we are doing this law? All other factors remain constant. All other factors means what? Income of the consumer, price of related goods, taste and preferences, technology, all these will remain constant. Only price is changing. To explain law of demand, we are using demand schedule and demand curve. Demand schedule, it is the list of various quantities demanded at different price levels. So, different price levels, different quantities demanded. Based on demand schedule, we can draw the demand curve. In our demand curve, what is there? Demand curve is always sloping downwards because when price increases, demand decreases. Okay. Or we can write demand curve is sloping downwards because of negative relation between price and demand. Negative relation means what? When price increases, demand decreases. When price decreases, demand increases. And here, what are the reasons for negative sloping demand curve or downward sloping demand curve? The reasons are law of diminishing marginal utility. When our satisfaction is low, we don't buy with high price. Okay, income effect. When price decreases, our purchasing power increases. So we demand more goods. Substitution effect. When the price is increasing, we try to substitute that with another commodity. Multiple uses of the commodity. When the product is used for many uses. In that case also, when the price is low, we try to purchase more quantity. Old and new buyers. When the price decreases, old buyers will use them. Even new buyers also want to try that commodity. So these are the reasons for negative sloping demand curve. So hope all these questions are clear for you. Whatever questions we have discussed today, be thorough in these questions as these are important questions for you from exam point of view. Remaining, we will continue in tomorrow's class. Thank you.